G'day and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Ranmenera. Last time around we did a bunch of talking to our companions, finding out about them, their hopes, their dreams, etc. And one moment while I just make sure I mute this tab. Okay, and now, back to it. It's amazing how many bits and pieces can go wrong. Alright. So now it's time to actually chat with more of these people. We've upgraded every companion's equipment, and we found we can't really get anywhere with Eridus at the moment, I think. So I'm going to leave Alagon with us for now. This man is less flesh than muscle, running in quarter bands down his thick neck, down his broad chest, wide arms and calloused hands. Oh, I don't quite get that sentence, whatever. He focuses on you, his cold eyes flicking from your face and the shape of your tattoo to the width of your shoulders like a prospective buyer sizing up a particularly dangerous animal. Here she is, the one I've heard about, but is she a resource or a threat? Then he smiles, and it is as wide and genuine as any you've ever seen. The most advanced of our sire's children, here at last. I'm surprised you didn't make your way here sooner. A resource, of course, and a fine one at that, at least until she proves otherwise. You're not upset that I opened the portal? Well, he says, chuckling, though there's a touch of unease in it, you notice. I argued for the portal's closure to begin with, so I'm concerned that it's open again. But I trust that our sire knew what he was doing when he made you, so I have no doubt the weakening of our defenses is a smaller part of his greater strategy, and should something happen, well, I will be safe for certain. Makina chuckles to herself. The large man turns her way scowling, and she holds his gaze. He is the one that looks away. Who are you? I am the Chalcedon, the commander of the changing gods' forces in the endless battle, the guardian of his grand design, and his champion. He raises a self-deprecating hand. Not that our sire truly needs my help, of course, but some here, in the very land he created for us, would rather acknowledge all he's done for us. He shakes his head slowly. Some of those disagreements can be resolved through debate, but not all, of course. Not all. Have you seen him lately? No, but that's not unusual. His strategies absorb most of his time, which is why he leaves most of the work in the endless battle, and the diplomacy in Mielavest, to me. As you might imagine, he measures time differently than us. He chuckles. It's been a number of years since I've seen him. I doubt our sire has noticed. You almost don't spot the unease beneath that grin, the hurt. Has he forgotten us? Has he forgotten me? Tell us about the changing god's grand design. As you know, he moves from body to body. He does this to test the capability of those bodies to their fullest to ensure their strength, and when he has done so, he gives them to us, gives us life, so we might continue using them in service of his plans. He is like a sculptor honing his art. So you see, he is not flitting from body to body like some manner of vapid insect. Each cast-off is an improvement on the last. And that means, of course, you are the best of us, and the most suited to help us end this conflict. Makina snorts. The Chalcedon completely ignores her. Saddest, most obvious begging attempt I've seen. The sorrow will find us. Before that, we must end our conflict with each other. We must prepare our defenses. We must find some way to stop it. I'm looking for a cast-off named Mazov who can repair the resonance chamber in Sega's Cliffs. I'm assured that will stop the sorrow. Of course, our sire told me of plans to build it. I should have known. Speak to Ardiris if you haven't already. She will know where to find this Mazov. What's the endless battle all about? Ingratitude. Our sire gave us long lives and powerful gifts, a home to protect us from the sorrow. The first cast-off wasn't content. She spread lies about our sires and turned some of his children against him. She is dead now, but the damage is long done. Our family is divided. The First Army would see us destroy the changing god and seek freedom from his plans. They are stubborn children, refusing the medicine that will save their lives because the taste isn't sweet enough to their liking. Okay, right.
I'm ready.
Interesting. What else do we have? We've got Melmoth. I don't know that we've talked to them. Basically anyone with a name. Do we have any exits? No. So I guess Adiris is the person we want to talk to, but first we'll talk with these other people. Melmoth. Your eyes are drawn to the tattered leather robes and the profusion of tubes that wire this man. He is lighter skinned, with piercing eyes and hideous pitted scars on his face. He could be handsome, but centuries of neglect have ravaged his looks. He sees your companion and hisses, Matkina! What about this newborn cast-off could have motivated her to come back here? Melmoth, you know, I've always wondered, if you were to die, would your followers eat you, Yulin, for instance? How did that ever turn out? Yulin? Ha! That's a name I haven't heard for some time. Your old friend left an inedible corpse, probably to hide the crimes you and he had planned. Now, look, you've been away for a while, I understand your memory isn't what it was. He trails off. Did I dream of someone telling me that? Was it a vision? Bah, no matter. What was I saying? Something about my memory. A trenchant for witty comments about my powers of recollection, no doubt. His reply to her is a long, unpleasant sneer. He looks at you and says, You travel in bad company, sibling. Anger her and she'll find a way to scar you, even if she leaves no other mark on the world, likely. She'll leave pain. It's an immortality of a sort. He barks out a short laugh. Cast off humor, you'll learn. The Feretory. What happened to me? Curiosity happened to you. No one knows. I'd venture so far as to say it's some kind of psychic defense mechanism to keep prying noses from tampering with it. But I've gotten precisely nowhere with my investigation, so all you get from me is useless speculation. Tell me about yourself. I'm Melmoth Leviam, the creator of the Dendra O'Hare, the greatest, or at least most innovative, of the brotherhoods that seek to pass along knowledge from one generation to the next. So many people back away from me because of the way I look or the way I speak, but let me tell you, in this body I have lived countless lives, seen endless worlds, experienced memories that beg a description. I contain worlds, and they judge me by my appearance. Sometimes I wonder who I'm saving this knowledge for. With all your acquired knowledge, you must have a unique outlook on the endless battle.
Making a note.
A waste of life and a criminal waste in knowledge. The weapons discharged are lost to us forever. Each life gone is an experience that will disappear into the mists of eternity, snuffed away, forgotten, never to be seen again. Our sire sought to cheat death, to stop that kind of waste. It's beyond my reasoning why he'd allow the endless battle to continue. What can you tell me about the Dendra? They call us the Eaters of the Dead. We take knowledge from their fading flesh. Every life flickers and dies, and when knowledge disappears, the world grows darker. The rain of death washes away experience I want to preserve. Each of the Dendra is a library of experience. A feral grin flickers on his mouth and vanishes. Every life that vanishes is a loss. Every person living has a story. The secret keys of history hide there. I want truth. I want exposure. I want knowledge to live. That's actually a pretty laudable aim, even if it requires cannibalism. Can you tell me more? No. Okay. What can you tell me about the other cast-offs here? They're idiots and fools. They think their shields can protect them from the sorrows forever. I came here to retrieve some research, and every time I come, I think of how much knowledge is in their minds and bodies. I wish they'd just die already so I could gain access to their wasted experience. On the other hand, they're the closest I have to peers. Gods, what does that say about me? I'm looking for Mazov? Him, that useless tinkerer? Why? I need him to fix a resonance chamber. A resonance chamber? I remember the term. Something about the building of it. Crystal. Ah! The particulars escape me, but Mazov would be the one to fix it. Too bad he's not here. Try asking Adiris. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Adiris will trigger our next scene.
Yes, now.
So let's go down and talk to these people. The woman bears a toothy smile, enjoying the anger in the man she's speaking of. You probably think if you won, then the endless battle would actually end. The man's face is flushed and angry, veins throb on his forehead, and his eyes are focused on his companion. Stop talking, Rayma. Stop talking or I'll prove you wrong right now. He planned this? Ridiculous, I would have known. Ah, but you wouldn't do anything of the sort. Even if this argument is part of his plan, do what you have to do, Andronicus, rather. If not for the law, you'd already be dead. Traitor! Fool! You child. You ingrate. A typical first militia response. Angry indignation. This is no way for a family to behave. Simultaneously turned silent, incredulous looks your way. This is exactly how our family behaves. Get used to it. What are you arguing about? Best stay out of it. Even a second of her bootlicking nonsense is a waste of your time. Hide from the truth all you want. You know I'm right. You know it. Neither of you actually told me what you were arguing about. Of course I didn't. Andronicus never lets me get a word in edgewise. Why should I? All your words are his, and I've had enough of him for a lifetime. Just tell me what the argument's about. Andronicus, grinding his teeth together, merely shakes his head. Ramus chuckles under her breath and runs an easy hand over her scalp. How long have you two known each other, anyway? Too long. Agreed. Tell me what you're arguing about. Come on, tell me what you're arguing about. No. Fine. That's it. It's just, that's the kind of thing we see here. This slim cast-off looks to be in his late teens. He carries an odd-looking device that resembles a scorched circle. It's not hard to draw the connection between it and the red mark of a recent injury that travels along his forehead under his hair. The man seems confused, hesitant, as if he has so many questions and he isn't sure which to ask first. I want to ask, I'm not sure, I want to ask you a lot, we all do. About her? No. Something she did? Maybe. Yes. Makina studies his face and comes to a conclusion. I don't know him. He's a newer cast-up. At least within the last century, looks like he's been worse used than the rest of all of us. What did you say when you mean me? He blinks hard at your question, twisting the blackened circle in his hands. I once fought in the endless battle. Found this in a giant clay hand, trapped in a shattered block of stone. I took it. He shakes his head as if denying the memory. Put it on. The circlet spins through his hands, faster and faster. I saw darkness. I knew inside the owner of that hand. I was inside the owner of that hand, a clay automaton, imprisoned. I knew I could control it. I did. Broke it free from the stone. Used it in service of our sire for many years. Thought of it as my armor. He blinks again hard, like a man trying to dislodge a thought with his eyelids alone. Then a war construct collapsed on the automaton, crushed it, and the crown burned. I remember screaming, then 100 voices in my head, arguing with each other, shouting, fighting. The automaton wasn't armor, it was a container for gods. Did you say gods? Yes, my armor wasn't a tool. It was a locked chest with a hole inside, a deep hole full of terrible gods. Rin, can you help him? I can try, she says, hunkering down to examine El-Keshai's eyes. Her small smile falls into a frown. Then she winces. I don't understand these gods. They aren't like any I've ever met. They don't speak anything like a proper god. They're rude. Al believes they're prisoners, and also not gods at all. I can offer apologies, sir, for I cannot help you. Yes, they said much to me now that I can understand it. What kind of questions do you have for me? You forced your way through a portal. You kept yourself safe from the sorrow, and now it's open. He swallows, eyeing you reproachfully, carefully. You feel the stirring of forces around you. You were reckless. You exposed us. Maybe you killed us. I don't want to die. You need to tell me how bad it is. Have you seen it? Have you seen the sorrow? Yes. I knew it. We're running out of time. Now listen, this is even more important. Have you abused the tides to change things? To influence people? Very little. Oh, it doesn't matter. It'll find you. Every use of our power draws it like fire in the sky. You should leave. Maybe it'll follow you and leave us alone. Did you want to ask me more questions? No, I don't. You should go before it comes for all of us. What's the end of this battle like? We were killed. The dead crept into my mind. They told me to kill more, and I did it because that's what we do. It's in our nature, you know. We're worse than animals, cast-offs, humans, wherever creator are involved. We're all inclined to conflict. What do you think is in your head again? Gods, many, arguing. Hey, Rin, let's have a chat about that, actually.
Yes?
I want to talk to you again. Alright, what did you want to know? wanted to talk about Arl again. Okay, just a few questions. You have a new god now? Oh yes, his name is Valen. He's a god of shifts and change. I feel like I need gods that keep me safe. To keep us safe, Valen will help. Can Valen actually do anything? We'll see. How old is Arl again? He was born only a couple of weeks before I came to the city. I'm so proud. I want to ask about something else then. How are you holding up? Before I met you, I asked Arl if he could bring someone to help me. I know it's embarrassing. He's not the right sort of god for that, but then you came and you're even better than anything a god would bring me. I think it's... No, wait, no. Never mind. Never mind. Forget I suggested it. I didn't actually mean to say that. Okay. So I just want to check something. So I guess you got that as part of leveling up. So there's Arl and there's Valen. Aha. Everything of hiding. And then if we go to her character sheet. Right, the god of change is Valen. And the god of hiding? Okay, cool. Alright, so now I think it is time to chat with Adiris and break everything.
Updated my journal.
Even among all your siblings in Mielavest, this woman is remarkably beautiful. Clad in a robe of myriad colours, she carries herself with distinct grace and ease. Her skin is dark brown, her hair a rippling midnight black. Her violet eyes blaze momentarily as you approach, and she holds up her hand. Her voice is musical and sweet. You are most welcome here, sister. I am Adiris. I am the peacekeeper of Mielavest. Word of your birth and exploits has reached us here already. News travels fast in the cast-off world, as I'm sure you've already seen. I know your desire to speak to Mazov. I've even heard a rumor that you can alter the past, that you restored Matkina. This is strange to me, for I have two memories on the subject, one in which Matkina is whole as we know her now, and another in which her mind is incomplete. Perhaps my mind is the one that's incomplete. I remember it, Adiris. The attack on Calm Village, where Podge destroyed my friends. You remember that? In another timeline, Tash used his mind wipe on me. He filled my memory with holes so I wouldn't remember. He ruined my life. I tell you that my memory of that time's changed. I'm whole again. I dare only trust a new reality. That actually makes me feel less insane. But how do I know that our newest member hasn't simply used a different form of mind control to give you new memories? I have a marecaster here of which Mazov is said to appear, but I don't wish to expose him to the dangers of an untested psychic. I have a limited psychic ability for myself. If my friend would allow me, I'd like to examine your mind for the truth. Let me ask a few questions first. Of course, you must have many. Hold on a moment, you seem like a fair-minded person. The others here seem to defer to you. So let me ask, if the changing god was here right now, what would you say to him? What would you do to him? I'd tell him what he'd wrought in our persons. I'd ask him why he encourages strife, or I'd engage him in a discussion about mortality. But tell me, mortal man, what is it you truly want to say? I want justice, and I don't know how to get it. Your creator, the changing god, he was responsible for what happened to my village. Why haven't you told me this before? I did, at the monument. I just didn't tell you it was a changing god who was responsible. Back in Ormond, when I was the Aeon priest in my Aldea, I found a frame, a black metal piece. I was looking over in my workshop, trying to figure out what to do with it. A traveller came through my town. She looked a lot like you, actually, though without the burn scar or visible tat. If you're not the changing god, then it was your creator and your body who told me to activate the frame and how. I didn't think of any at the time, but, well, I activated the frame. Black monsters spilled out, all tooth and claw. I got knocked out. When I awoke, everyone was gone. No trace. Only thing that was different, the monsters scarred me. Their attack left these tattoos all up and down my arms. A poison that whispers in my mind. A constant reminder, I failed everyone I ever loved. That was a changing god's gift to me. I loaded the frame, took it to Sagas Cliffs. Orthfong promised to help me. He even found out he could fold it down. That's as far as we ever got. Never even figured out who made it or why. In the meantime, I've been looking for the changing god to try and find out what he knows. Why did he have me activate the frame? What happened to my family? And if I don't like the answers, his smile is grim and deadly, and his tattoos hum and hiss with power. I'll help you find out what the truth is, Allegan. Sure you will. Allegan, what's past is past. Do you want aid? Do you want answers? Because if you do, your companion here is the one who will guide you to them. If you let your rage blind you and poison you, you will never find the truth. Look to the future and, well, do not forget the past. Never that. Let the past guide you, but do not let it poison you. Here, a gift of knowledge for you. One of the blessings, or curses, perhaps, is that as cast-offs, we can in occasion find flashes of our Creator's memories inside our bodies. Should you find the frame that was a cause of your miseries, our friend might be able to shake loose a memory from our sire. I don't guarantee its success, but if this is the changing god, the damage from the fall has done significant harm. Your best bet is to travel with her. Perhaps you can find the answers you seek, but I pray you find peace in your heart. As she speaks, you can feel the tides gently roll off her, softening the walls Allegan has constructed his mind. I'll try, no guarantees. My companion... Do you have any other business with me? My companion Eritus has demons in his mind. Do you know of any healers that can help him? No, only cast-offs here as I know. Elsewhere... What's the creepy pyramidal structure? Ah, the ferratory. That has been here for as long as anyone can remember, though not, perhaps, when Mielivest was originally founded. What is known is the first placed it there. What is not known is why. Rumors abound, of course, but no one knows how to activate it or open it. None can be proven. I'd like to ask you some questions. Oh, tell me about yourself, actually. Yeah, we'll do that. I keep the peace here in Mielivest. Alcai brought the jagged dream to Sagas Cliffs in my body. Did you know that? The conflict they seek to start, the wars I swore they would make no deaths in my lifetime, bring no pain. I came here in the wake of the first death, and her loyalists were at the throat of Alcai's. I brought peace to them. They agreed we would make Mielivest a sanctuary again. That is my achievement, my legacy. Why'd you feel guilty about Alcai bringing the jagged dream to Sagas Cliffs? It wasn't you. True, and yet the jagged dream knew me under another name and a history that wasn't my own. The killers, the haters, the ones who wanted to see blood and death, they would tell me of my schemes. They wanted my approval, and any action on my part they took as such. I have never taken a life, but blood stains me. I can't feel that ever again. He brought the jagged dream using my body. I can't be sure that it wasn't me. Who put you in charge? Why, no one did. I saw the need and forged the peace myself. I saw a path to avoid the bloodshed, and I set my feet upon it, with my end goal in mind. Those who would oppose me saw that I had set my ideals and would not deviate from them. Since my plan didn't involve exalting myself over them, did not put them at a disadvantage. Who could say no? Indeed, I'm only in charge insofar as they allow it. They are the ones who enforce the peace. I just speak of it. Then let's ask about other cast-offs. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just get an info dump about cast-offs, eh? What can you tell me about the cast-offs here? Ordinarily, we see more activity here, and we would have perhaps prepared a homecoming for you, but rumor has convinced many that the sorrow has been more active of late. To ease their minds, I offered a vote to close the portals into Sanctuary. But I digress. The current guests include the Chalcedon, Lady Anchi, Elkashai, Andronis, Rima, Melmoth, and I suppose you just missed my friend Padge. So if you joined me in voting against it, I underestimated how afraid they all are. The Chalcedon commands our Creator's forces in this battle. He's a true believer. A tightly wound man, but brilliant. Lady Anchi brings her trinkets from all over her mercantile empire. Poor Elkashai has been badly treated by the world. Perhaps you could have a word or two with him. Andronis is, well, his best quality is that he's loyal to Padge. Perhaps I should say to the memory of the first, but he's also volatile and argumentative, and he's devoted his centuries to fighting. You'll find him sparring verbally with Rima, whose devotion to the ideals of our sire is equal of his. And then my friend Melmoth, the leader of the Dendra O'Hare, is quite the charmer. Speak to him. You'll see. What can you tell me about the cast-offs that aren't here? Our Creator chose to live a bountiful life, and he's brought hundreds into the world. He's explored many forms and shapes and sizes, and has led some of our kin through time-twisting loops. I do not know all their names, but I hope one day to befriend them. Even those have been twisted into savagery. Even if I knew them all, I would not divulge their secrets, just as I would not divulge yours. She smiles gently to take the sting from the rebuke. What can you tell me about the sorrow? I know nothing about where it came from, nor its purpose, or its true desires, apart from seeing us all dead. None of us do, though some of us have devoted centuries trying to understand it. Indeed, the creation of Mielavest was intended for that purpose. But the first and the changing god grew complacent, and then they grew possessive, and then the endless battle. She sighs and opens her eyes. Sometimes I feel that the sorrow must hunt us because so many of us are so very disagreeable. But in truth, I believe the sorrow hunts us because of something to do with the tides. Our unique powers tied to the tides must summon it. I have not seen the sorrow track any other living beings, nor heard any context but the cast-off situation. It must be the tides. It must. What can you tell me about this place? The name comes from a language predating our creator. It means Stone of Wonders. He and the first created our sanctuary jointly, sitting on this plateau, because the devices they found here proved uniquely suited to creating a sanctuary, and to power the shields that protects us. They brought more of us here, our elders hid from the sorrow or retreated here from the cares of the world. They built homes, laboratories, and more. The shields protected them from the sorrow's gaze, but when the first and the changing gods struggled, all that fell apart. The peace of Mielavest was shattered, and those who remained chose sides. Blood spilled on the Great Disk. Factions fought for control of the wisdom gained here. Such a waste. It was not until after the first death and my arrival that we were able to re-secure peace. And so once again we have a sanctuary for any cast-offs, and their occasional guests. Would that we have not closed doorways, though, whether the sorrow is truly more active or not. There are undoubtedly others that would wish to find safety here. I accept the responsibility for the closure for those who chose to left, and I wish the rest safety. What can you tell me about the first? She died a few years after I was born. A pity. I wish I could have spoken with her, to understand her drive and passion. She honestly thought she would serve us all, and sometimes I ask myself what she might do in a situation when our brothers are fighting. Then I remember so many of them died fighting in her war, and my respect vanishes. I would have loved to speak with her, help her find another way. Alas. Let's talk about the changing god. What do you think about him? That's quite a list. Which would you prefer to address first? Where have you seen him? Sorry, have you seen him lately? Never, to my knowledge. Perhaps I have, and he never revealed himself. It would be very like him to gather his intelligence and then be away. We regard every new cast-off with the suspicion that he or she might truly be our creator, and frequently a new cast-off will pretend to be. But we find the truth one way or another, and our sire continues to live in a way we do not fully understand. To be clear, you really haven't seen him lately. I do not believe so, sadly. What do you think of him? A brilliant man, thoughtful, charismatic, a mind greater than any the Ninth World has seen. Where the Aeon priests of today cobble together bits and pieces of Numenera, our creator was a visionary. Were it not for the sorrow, I honestly believe he would lift us into a new age of human achievement. He has also systematically destroyed every relationship he ever built. He doesn't seem to understand human frailty or emotion. No, let me rephrase that. He understands those things well enough to exploit them in others, but doesn't accept their reality. If you understand what I mean. More plainly, he is a selfish man who grows more disconnected with his inferiors every year. His life is a tragedy. It truly is. What do you know of his history? Much of it he has deliberately obscured, and much he has rewritten, either to make himself a better man or to keep his enemies from finding him, but I can provide you with the broad strokes if you wish. He saved the city of Sega's Cliffs from the Tabat, and it was after their siege that he focused so heavily on mental transference techniques, though we do not know why. He was successful in his attempts, obviously. This is the first record we have of the sorrow in modern times. He travelled to another world or dimension. I have heard this is where the first was born. His studies in the tides ran deep. He claimed to have spent lifetimes exploring them, and when he mastered them, he destroyed the Tabat utterly. He brought the order of truth to Sega's Cliffs and sought to keep knowledge alive by creating the Dendra Oha. His life has been about creation or preservation of knowledge. But to what end? It seems to be no pattern or goal. He doesn't seem to build for humanity, but for his own legacy. Should we emulate this? What? I have other questions? Nope. Let's leave these next two questions for the next episode. Until then, have a great time. Bye! Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.